Hello. Let me figure this out. Okay, awesome. Let me know when you guys join in. Sorry for the dark background. Everything that I tried to turn on was a glare on the screen, so we're just in the dark here with the TV in the background, so it's all good. Hi, Rachel. How are you? Let me know when you're in. I just got off a training call. Hi, Carla. How are you? I just got and please excuse me if I have any allergies. I don't know what's going on with me today. I just got off a training session with a mentor in the network marketing world named Sonia Stringer. You may remember that some of the ambassadors were able and the executive leaders were able to go to a Sonia Stringer conference called Believe last year, and so that's where I met her. And what I really loved and what spoke to me about her as a mentor of network marketing was she very much came from the same approach that we come from here at LimeLight. I actually didn't know that this was an approach that anybody else in direct sales had, and I realized it's more new age. It's definitely not like the direct sales, the direct sales of, the old school days. It's not something where we talk about how to recruit by knocking down people's doors or anything like that. It's very much a new age way of approaching people and talking to people and building relationships. So if you read the unicorn onboarding guide that we made recently, there is a place on there talking about attraction marketing. There's also another place on how to recruit. So this is not to take place of that. This is kind of like step 2. So if you haven't read the unicorn onboarding training guide, please do. I believe it's just training.thefacecrew.com. If you actually want to go to it, you have to enroll, put your email address in, and then you can read through it. And then there's an exercise on this whole thing called Magic Words. You can see a video that Kendra did on this that correlates with some of the steps on there. This is kind of step 2. This is the whole process is, okay, now somebody wants to talk to you about LimeLight, and what do you do? And if you're anything like me at the beginning, I very much was a person that kind of just gave them all of the information, and it gets overwhelming, especially as somebody, one quote that sticks with me is, when someone thirsts, don't turn on the water hose. And I feel like a lot of times, a lot of us find somebody who thirsts for a little bit of information, and we're going to go out there with the fireman's water hose, and we're going to turn it all on, and we're going to tell them all about LimeLight, what we're about, everything we love about it, how it's changed our life. And they were like, I was just thirsty. I just needed a cup of water. So it's like we have to remember that it's so much more about what they want and putting ourselves in their shoes of how this is going to benefit them than for us to just show what we know about this company. This is not like where you take your test and now you're going to prove to somebody everything you know. This is definitely about holding back and editing. It kind of reminds me of makeup, actually. It's kind of like holding back and editing your work when you know that you shouldn't just go all out and put flowers and sequins everywhere if it's not that kind of shoot. That's my analogy, what I give for makeup. It's the same thing for network marketing. You're not going to just go out there and throw everything and just see what sticks. So I got off this call, and you're going to have to excuse me because I am going to read through some of this, only because it's so brand new, but I was so excited. I've heard it before at the conference. I was just reminded of it tonight, and I was like, this is something I need to talk to the Face Crew about. So I'm going to read a little bit of this, but I'm going to talk to you as well. So the first thing that you want to think about is, all right, you set up something where you're either on a phone call, or you set up a phone call, you set up a time to talk, or you're going to meet somebody at the coffee shop or wherever, whatever action has happened, you're now in front of this person. How do you get this conversation going, right? I mean, I'm sure that's an awkward moment for a lot of people. So one of the first things that you have to remember is that they're going to come into this with so many questions. They're going to come into this probably feeling like they're about to get sold to. They're probably thinking, like, can I even trust this person? How well do I even know this person? Am I going to feel uncomfortable? Am I going to be able to leave if I feel uncomfortable? They probably have all of these ideas in their head. So you have to kind of understand that. And where you're going to go with your conversation is actually breaking down those barriers before they become an issue. So you almost cut them off at, right at the beginning and give them an out, so to speak, and take the pressure off of them. So you're going to go through these 4 steps when you're talking to a recruit. It's going to be something that You will need to practice, and that's why I said that I can have people come on here and practice with me. I'm not like the best at it either. I do find that I do a lot of these things naturally, but 4 steps, no, I probably don't follow 4 steps. I kind of go more with just the flow of the conversation. But, you know, if you need to practice, I'm happy to practice with you. And then maybe between everybody practicing or just figuring this out at home, that we'll get more comfortable. It is, you know, the brain is a muscle too. We always have to exercise it. So this is not meant to come naturally, but it is meant to be something that you can completely pick up. And guess what? It doesn't work just in network marketing. It works in life in general. It works in your day job. It works in your freelance jobs. It works in relationships, just having these conversations. So the first thing we're going to talk about, and what Sonia told us about, was called pre-framing. And I don't know if anybody knows what pre-framing means, but hey guys, welcome. I just jumped right in just for replayers. So pre-framing is the art of shaping the meaning of a situation, behavior, thought, word, or phrase. It's deciding what the situation in front of you is going to mean to you, but most importantly, it's helping others decide what the situation is going to mean for them. You are taking on the role as basically their career coach right now, their life coach, their life counselor. You are not taking on the recruiter. I want to make sure that that's very clear. When you're meeting with somebody, they are giving you their time, and you really have to take on the role as somebody who is looking to, with integrity, acting on integrity to see if this is the best situation, the best choice for them, okay? So we are taking out, if you have been in direct sales a million years and you've been told, get the sale, get the recruit, whatever, we're actually going to turn that on its head. And this is where it's, you know, I shared that video about that Kendra did this morning about abundance and making sure something is right for them. This is where we're going with this, okay? We're going to get the sale out of our head, and we're going to now put ourselves in the shoes of somebody else. So there are going to be 4 steps. And I can, she's going to actually post these PDFs tomorrow, and then I can screen capture them, but if you want to write them down now, you're more than welcome to. So there are 4 steps that you're going to follow, right? The 4 steps is 1. It's going to sound very much like magic words. It's a little twist, a little bit different. 4 steps. Get rapport. And we'll go over each one of these, okay? Hi. Okay, you're going to get rapport. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is get attention. Step number 3, get permission. And step number 4, make it easy. Cool? So get rapport, get attention, get permission, make it easy. These are our 4 steps. So let's break this down. Get rapport. What does that mean? You want to think of your keywords like, your keywords are like, trust, authenticity. This is that part of the conversation. This is the part where they're coming in for the first time. You are not going to go straight into your spiel. You're not going to go straight into what the business is. You're not going to talk about how Alcone's been around for 60 years. This is not the place. This is not the time. You're getting rapport. You're just connecting with them again. What made you connect with them in the first place? What got you a meeting with them in the first place? Were you at, for example, I think Karen was on this call too, and she shared her example. Karen's one of our ambassadors, and she was saying that she met somebody at the makeup show. So of course, you would probably bring back up the makeup show, her daughter who was at the makeup show, and how her daughter got along really well with her daughter. This is the part where you're going to either bring up small talk, you're going to relate to them in some way, you're going to demonstrate that you're caring for whatever situation they might have told you about the last time. You're going to follow up with that. Here's also where you're going to match and mirror. Now, remember we talked about this in the Unicorn onboarding guide. Please make sure you check that out if you haven't. But matching and mirroring is so simple, but it's something that you would want to do at this time. If somebody is talking in a very spastic, kind of crazed way, you almost want to match them where they're at. If they're talking in a very slow, kind of guarded, whatever way, you're going to kind of talk in a slow, kind of guarded, whatever way. This is a place where if they're speaking with their hands, you can speak with your hands too. Not to an awkward mirroring, kind of way where it's just so obvious, but it is going to be something where they're going to feel like they connect to you and they don't exactly know why. And you don't have to do it right away. This is something we talk about 360 Thrive trainings. You don't have to do it right away. If they're sitting there and they're talking like this, you don't necessarily have to say that on your next word. But, as you start getting a little bit more into your story, then you can start going, and you could start using your hands a little more. So this is called matching and mirroring, because a lot of times what you say is not as important as how you make somebody feel. You need to read the room. You need to read them. You need to be respectful of where they're at and kind of meet them there. So that's the first thing you want to do is you want to get rapport. And so again, you can give a compliment at this time. Just, have it be authentic. But this is the place that we're going to do small talk and all that. So get attention. Now, get attention is all about wit. We've talked about wit before. Wit is what's important to them. Always what's important to them. You need to stress the benefits that make sense to the person you're talking to. I do have some script here, so please excuse me if I sound like I'm reading, because I probably am reading some of this. I'm doing some of this off of memory, but for example, this is Sonia's script, okay? This is when they've already made small talk. I appreciate you for meeting me here to hear more about LimeLight. You may recall we spoke earlier. The reason I wanted to introduce you to this is because this opportunity is great for blank who want to blank. This opportunity is great for makeup artists who want to make extra money during the slow season. This opportunity is great for mothers who want to stay home with their kids. Who are you speaking to, and how can you relate to this specifically to the situation that they are in? Right? So it says, I appreciate you meeting with me to hear more about LimeLight. As you may recall earlier, we spoke. The reason I want to introduce you to this is because this opportunity is great for blank who want to blank. This may or may not be something that fits what you need. Do you see how we're letting them off the hook? And I know it seems counterintuitive to how you want to recruit somebody. I guarantee you it's going to help you go far, though. This may or may not be something that fits what you need, but based on what I know of you, it seems like LimeLight could be a great way for you to blank. Get the benefit or result that they want, right? Maybe you guys talked about it the first time. This is how they're even meeting with you in the first place. This may be a great way for you to get out of your full-time job, whatever it is. All right, and I will post this written out. So I want you to hear it now. The next step number 3. So that was easy, right? We've already done rapport. We already got their attention, right? We just brought it back to why they're there. Next step is get permission. This is the part where you want to ask if it's okay to ask questions. We don't want to just start diving in and getting into their business. It sounds very nosy. It's very personal. So this will help them appreciate why you're asking the questions if you set this up and frame this right. I have a couple different examples of how she described it. So again, this is discovery phase. It's all about what is important to them. You're going to find out what their struggles are. You're going to find out what their loves are. They might really want to go on vacation. They might really want to just save up. They save up for their kids' college. They want to just have fun. They want to talk to people who are over 5 years old, because that's all they deal with all day long are the kids who are over, under 5 years old. They might have so many different reasons as to why they would want or even would look at the opportunity of LimeLight, but we don't know unless we ask them and we discover. So what you're going to do is you can say, there's so much great information I could share with you about LimeLight, but rather than dump a lot of details on you, do you mind if I ask you a few questions first? Simple, right? We're asking and getting their permission as to, do you mind if I just cut through all the other stuff and let's go right for me asking the right questions so I know exactly what you can get out of this meeting today. You can also say, if you don't mind sharing a bit more info about your current situation, what's more important to you and your family? I'll be able to share the information that's most helpful to you by the end of this conversation, and you'll know if this opportunity is worth checking out in more detail. Doesn't that seem like something that if somebody approached you for an opportunity meeting that you would be like, okay, I mean, there's no pressure. It seems like she just wants to give me this information because she feels like it'll be helpful. So this is something that you really want to observe. Are we doing this right now in our conversations, or are we really just going full force ahead of and then you have that dirty feeling afterwards because you're just selling. We want to make sure that, again, we're building rapport with them. We're getting their attention, reminding them why they're here because you feel like this is a good opportunity for them. And then we're going to make it, we're going to discover, we're going to actually get permission to ask them questions. And at this point, you can tell them it's okay. Oh, here. You can ask them more specific questions about what is it that you do for a living? How do you feel? And I mean, here's the thing. If they've already given you permission, then you won't have to feel weird about asking a little more personal questions. Now, I don't get too personal, but you do need to know what they do for a living. You do need to know what their goals are. I mean, do they like their job? Are they trying to get out of their job at a certain point? Do they feel like do they feel like they need more time at home for any reason? Do they have plans to travel? You might know some of this depending on if you know this person through high school years, through college years or whatever, you might know a lot of these answers and you can form your questions based on answers you already know. But let's say this is a complete stranger, that's somebody who reached out to you and you're meeting up with them or you're speaking to them for the first time. These are the kinds of questions that you might want to ask. And they will be able to tell you, and they'll want to tell you because they want to make sure your conversation is geared towards what's important to them, right? They don't want to like go through the whole discovery phase. If it doesn't matter to them that, you know, they get a unicorn suit when they hit lead director, then that's probably not the first thing I would bring up. Or if it doesn't matter to them if they make a bunch of money when all they want is a unicorn suit, is probably not what I would bring up either, you know? So it's all about the discovery phase at this point. You're going to make it easy. That's the very last step. Make it easy. It's okay you need to let them know it's okay to be honest. It's okay to say no. And you only want them to pursue this if it's right for them. That is a very important step. So the very last script that she has is, one more thing, if by the end of our conversation you have questions, concerns, or you aren't sure this business is right for you, then don't be afraid to tell me so. I only want to pursue this with you if it's a fit for something that you feel like can make a huge difference in your life and for your family. I've seen this work, and here's the thing. So she's giving them permission to say, this is okay. If it doesn't fit you, it doesn't fit you. I'm not going to force you. And we're all about that at LimeLight. We're not about forcing people to join us. We're always very much about, here's the opportunity, take it or leave it. And I think that's what makes us so special, is that we're kind of like, you do you. You don't have to join me. You don't have to do, you don't have to feel bad if you feel like this is not the right fit for you. But let's just go ahead and lay out the information. So you're giving them an out, but you do want to sneak in one sentence where it says, I've just seen this work so well for, fill in the blank, I've just seen this work so well for makeup artists like you. I'm excited to share this with you and get you all the info you need to make an informed decision. You see what I did there? So basically I'm telling them they have a way out, but I've just seen this work for people exactly like you, and I just want to get you all the information that you have, that I can, so that you have an informed decision, that you can make an informed decision. And then at the end it says, at the very least, by the end of this conversation, you'll know about other options to make money and understand how LimeLight can help you create what you want. Does that sound good? So this is the end of the conversation. Not the end of the conversation. This is now where you can start going into all the LimeLight's been around for so many years. If family legacy is something that's important to them, guess what? We're a family-based business. If they don't like the feel of direct sales, you can talk about the culture and how that is not the feeling that is not how we run our businesses. We don't go with old school direct sales tactics. If they are concerned about selling, and they're not a salesperson, well, you talk to them about how you share more than anything, and how you look for benefits and how you're going to benefit people that come to you with questions versus saying, oh, you got to hit a quota this much per month, So you're going to be able to know exactly what you're going to talk to them about. Do I have any questions so far? There was actually a really good real estate example for pre-framing. To go back to the beginning, remember I said pre-framing is kind of already taking their concerns and putting it in a way where you're just kind of not negating the concern, but you're already tackling it right from the beginning. So let's just give the real estate example that Sonia gave on this call. So a house that a real estate agent is going to show is further than the prospects want to go. Okay? Further out, probably about 30 minutes out, and she's like, okay, I feel like this house is going to be great, but I know they might not want to live this far out. So do you show the house to them anyway and just hope that they don't mind? Or are you going to frame the question about why this is a great location? Now, it's so funny because when I read this and I saw this as an example, I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what our real estate agent did to us. We were so done. We were already done. We looked at the houses and we were settling on a house. And the next thing you do, we sit down, we're like, all right, we've got our house, we're ready to go. And she's like, I'm just going to show you one more. I just feel like you need to see this one more. This other house, I think that it's going to be a great combination of both houses that you love so much. I mean, she totally sold us. I mean, Lewis did not want to go an hour away to look at the model home, but I was like, but she really got me, and I was like, okay, I feel like we should just give this one more chance. But here's the real estate example. So real estate agents totally know this. The real estate example is, I know this neighborhood is far, but it does house the best schools in the area. And I know that's something that you feel that's very important to you. You see what she did there? She is now talking to what is important in the why of whoever's looking at that house. If their kids in a good school is something that's important to them, they may consider going out 30 more minutes away to hear a little bit more about this house or to see this house. It's also one of the safest areas, and it's an up-and-coming community, so the property values will go up. How does this not make somebody at least pique their curiosity of like, okay, well, that was 30 minutes further, but maybe let's go take a look. It's going to be great schools. It's an up-and-coming neighborhood. The property values are going to go up. It's going to help broaden their horizons a little bit more. They may be very specific on, I do not like direct sales, I do not whatever. But then as you start to break down those barriers and talk about how it could help benefit them in their life, because based on what you've had conversations with them about, they might start opening up just a little bit more and going, all right, I feel like maybe I want to hear this out a little bit more. So again, it's get rapport, get attention, get permission, and make it easy. Those are the 4 steps. And then you can go into the spiel, but really it's more just information. You're going to want to have your recruiting packet with you. If you haven't seen Kendra's recruiting packet, that might be a good thing if you're meeting up in person. The business breakdown group, if you're in this downline, you have the business breakdown group that you can add them to if they want to get a little bit more info. But at this point, you're able to be open with the whole business, and you don't have to feel like you're just going to take baby steps. If you don't remember any of this, the one thing I can help you remember is if you don't know what to tell somebody, just ask them what info they're looking for. That is the bottom line. That is what I do. If I never did these 4 steps, if somebody says, "Hey, I'd love to learn more about LimeLight." Oh, awesome. What would you like to learn? That's honestly that's what I do. I don't go in there. I don't overwhelm them. I've had people on this team tell me that they've reached out to other leaders that were not on this team, and they were completely overwhelmed. They had a million different things in their inbox before the next 5 minutes was up, and they had hardly even expressed their interest, and it turned them off. It was too much too soon. It was turning on the water hose when they just thirsted for a little bit of water, right? So it's one of those things where you let the recruit, the potential, whatever you want to call them, your lead, you let them really guide the conversation. So what this is just the 4 steps that help. If you're like a bullet point person, I know I have those girls on this team. If you're green, you're like, I need steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 of what to do and how to recruit. Well, I'm giving those to you. Step 1, get rapport. Step 2, get attention. Step 3, get permission. Step 4, make it easy. Okay? And those are all going to be done in like a 5-minute time span. It's not even like you have to really remember anything. It's just about practice. All right, we've done the niceties. We've talked about our kids. We've whatever. You're going to get attention as to why you felt like this was something that would work specifically for their profession, their kind of person, their wants, their needs, or your mom wanting to get out of your full-time job. You're specifically speaking to them on why this opportunity might be good for them. You're going to get permission to ask. You're going to get permission to ask questions so that you can make this very specific and you can get right to the point instead of wasting their time for an hour and a half. You are going to give them permission that it's okay if this is not for them, but you just have seen it work for people who are just like them, and you just want to get all the info out there, but that just know that there's no pressure. And then you're going to, and that's the whole thing about making it easy. I kind of just combined those last 2. All right. Anybody, now I don't know if anybody's going to want to do this, but if anybody wants to get on, I think we have some people on here where I can actually touch on video and you can be on the duo side. And if you have somebody that you've been talking to and you want to kind of work out how you would talk to them, please let me know and I can get you on here if it works. I see that there's video cameras next to maybe like 20 people, but not everybody. So if anybody wants to come on here and try this out, please let me know and I will tap on the video screen and you can join me on this side right here. If not, please just let me know if you have any questions and I'm happy to answer it. By the way, this is, if you look up Sonia Stringer, this is her training. She's the one who does the magic words. She does the heart-centered sponsorship. She does a lot of the stuff that we really, I don't want to say, kind of, like we take a lot and base a lot of our stuff off of what she does. She actually has helped us as well which she's the one who invited all the executive leaders and the ambassadors for free to the last conference. I mean, she really believes and understands where LimeLight's vision is. I think to her, it's a very, it's a breath of fresh air. So if you can follow Sonia, or her group, the Facebook group is called Savvy Network Marketing Women, I believe. She's really good at speaking to women in this sort of way where it's more relationship building than it is selling. I can try it if I'm able to. Okay, Lala, let me see. I'm going to tap on you. Did it work? It's just flashing, inviting. Do you have to push on something? I'm not sure. Okay, try doing that, and if it works, then we can work something out. I'm not sure why it's not going. It says it's inviting you. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do though. Okay, so any other questions, guys? Do you feel like you're doing this right now? Like with show of hands or hearts or likes or whatever, do you guys feel like this is something you do right now? Do you feel like you do too much? You have to accept the invite on this end. So I invited her. Was she supposed to? Oh, it didn't let you click on it. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why. I can try it one more time. Okay, if I click on your picture. Oh, now it's not letting me do anything. It's like time's up. Forget it. I'm sorry, Lala. Do you have any questions? Are you guys feeling comfortable with the kind of prospect you're speaking to? And I don't say like kind as in like, I'm not talking race, class, whatever. I'm talking who is the person you're speaking to? What is their situation? What are they, how, are they a real estate person? Are they a makeup artist that has a slow season? That's like an example I like to use a lot, because I know so many makeup artists that are struggling for work in the wintertime. They have their weddings and everything, and then they struggle for work in the wintertime. And so if you're specifically talking to a makeup artist, like I've seen this work for so many makeup artists so that they have residual income coming through those slow times. Tell me that's not going to help somebody go, oh, I could totally use that. Salon owners. I talk to salon owners all the time, and I'm like, you're not going to want to open that door one day. You're not going to want to come to work one day to make a sale. If you can make a sale, if you can build up your network now that you already have at the salon, and you can actually make a sale in bed because they love the products and you already got them hooked on the product, one day you don't have to open that salon if you don't want to. You know what I mean? You can come to work. You can pick your jobs. That's where I'm at now. You can totally pick your jobs. I can pick whatever job I want to. I can pick my freelance job that I want because I've used my network, not used my network, but I helped gain this network that actually purchases from me, where I don't have to show up at a studio to sell them something. Without knowing I actually do this. Good. See, Lala, and that's kind of like me too. So I was listening to this and I'm like, I totally do that. But here's the thing. I tried to be not to be pushy. Good. Sorry, Kimberly. It's all good. You'll get the replay. Um, I will tell you, I think there's something to be said. I'm learning this right now. I think there's something to be said that if you have arrived, if people have known you, you already have a value in the public's eye. If you're a well-known makeup art, like for in my case, if you're a well-known makeup artist, something like that, I think you can get away with a little bit of directness. I really do. I'm learning this right now because I'm sitting here going, well, when I started, I was straight up direct. I was like, hey, I'm looking, see if you're interested in this. And I was that direct sales spammy girl. I didn't know any better. I didn't know how it was coming across. But at the same time, it got people's attention because they already knew who I was and I was a value in their lives because I was either teaching or I worked with them or whatever. And they were like, well, if Kat's doing it, then this must be something. You know what I mean? So I have come back to this recently and I realized that this is such a really good this is a very good process when you don't have that quite yet and you're starting to build your value and you're starting to gain your network, and you're building your network, and you really need to put yourself out there, but they don't quite know what you're about yet. You do need to go about it in this kind of way, because otherwise, if they don't know you, a lot of other people aren't really familiar with you quite yet, and you're just building your network on social media, and you come out the gates just blaring, join me, join me, join me, they're going to very much be like, lock the doors, shut the blinds, turn on or take the phone off the hook. Like, we don't want anything to do with you, block you, hide you, whatever, because they're going to only feel sold to. But if you've already have that value to your audience and they already trust you, you can every once in a while be a little more direct. And I noticed that I haven't really been direct, but I had some of my best leaders come when I was direct. Kendra came off of a post where I talked about I talked about like my experience with this company and how the CEOs, how I felt about the co-founder and the CEO. And I even said, hit me up if this is something that you'd like to. And Kendra said, consider yourself hit. I was more direct back then because I didn't know a softer approach. But I think you can get away with it if you already have an audience and a network that trusts you. So this is really good. And I'm not saying that you don't want to still do this. I do this. This is what I do. These 4 steps, or at least saying, what can I help you with? This is what I do on a regular basis. If you have been in network marketing for years and people have been following you forever, they just trust your input, they trust your value, your judgment, your integrity. You can be a little more direct with, hey, come join us. We're an amazing leadership team, whatever, you can go that route. I joined a couple minutes late. At what point do you start these steps? Is this something that starts on the first meeting, or this is, Autumn, this is something that we're talking about for the first meeting. Oops, shoot. I can't see the rest of your comment. This is something like if you get with them, if you talk to them, by the way, let me backtrack a little bit because I thought this was brilliant. You also need to start talking about how you get these meetings, right? How do you get these meetings? And this kind of goes with your question, Autumn, is that this is once you get the meeting. You're on the phone, you've met for coffee, whatever it is. But how do you get these meetings? And there is something to be said for being kind of elusive about what you do without putting all the information out there, right? Because again, as soon as you start putting yourself in a place of I sell hair, or not hair and makeup, but I sell makeup and skincare, you just because of society, they're going to shut down. They're going to be like, okay, great, thank you, and they're going to back up slowly. But if you make it elusive enough where they're like, that piques my interest, what is that about? Then you might actually get the meeting. You might actually get the business card, And one girl who was on the call, she said that a guy gave her his business card right away with his wife there because he was talking about how he does I think it was firefighting, volunteer firefighting, and his wife did something, and she goes, oh, and they're like, what do you do? And she goes, I help people have an option to have a better life. Or what she said, I wrote it down. It says, I help people to have options to make a better life. I want your card. That was all it was. It was basically, I help people have options to have a better life. And you're like, oh, okay, what does that mean? But you want to learn more. It wasn't like I sell LimeLight skincare and makeup. I wasn't, one of my things that I have, if you look at the front page of my profile, is you'll find that it actually says, I help empower women to be stronger in the personal and professional life. Okay, it doesn't say that I am a LimeLight by Alcone, whatever. It's really just giving a broad idea of who you are, what you plan on helping somebody with, and it gives enough interest that they want to actually reach out. Actually, this was a thing that Kendra did at one of her, I think I've told the story like maybe twice. Hey, Vicky, maybe 2 or 3 times by now, and I'm sure Kendra will tell it again, but one of the things that she did was when she went to a networking event, she had her cards. They were all going around, mostly direct sales, and they were all going around talking about, I work for so-and-so company, and we've been around for this long, and we do this great, and we are amazing. Like, this is all the spiels. And Kendra legit had a family emergency going on at home where her daughter needed some medicine. And so she's getting phone calls like, you need to come home. And she's like, I got to do my 30-second elevator pitch, whatever. And she had just gotten back from the Sonia Stringer conference maybe about a month before, and she hadn't really put into practice all this that we're talking about. And she did. She put into practice that night, and she said something like, I actually have to go, but oh no, she said something like, I travel the world. I travel the U.S. I travel across the states to help empower women start their own business, or I forgot what she said. I don't know exactly what she said, but it was so vague like that. And then she said, I actually have to go. I have a family emergency, so I'm going to go ahead and leave my card right here. And she said that it was the most amazing feeling that when she left, how many people went up to the front and picked up her card. They wanted to know exactly what she was about. How do you travel the US empowering other women to start their business? Like, what is it you do? She never mentioned LimeLight. She never mentioned skincare or makeup, and she had to go. That was the best part, and that was the authentic part. But that was the best part, was that it was a sense of urgency, and she was like, bye, peace. Remember, it was one of those things where somebody thirsts for info, you don't turn on the water hose, and that really helps. I don't know if it's definitely a psychological thing, but people expect direct sales people to really push it and to really gun to give out all the information. So when you hold back, at least hold back a little bit, they're going to want more. And it might take longer. It might take longer than somebody who's like, join me, join me, join me, and then they get 3 people. But guess what? These are probably 3 people who end up being kidnappers, who are not really interested in the business, who don't really want to do too much work because they're just getting the makeup for $169, versus getting people who actually are really committed to learning more about your business. They want to talk to you. They want to get their business set up on the right foot, and they liked your approach. So guess what? They're going to do the same thing. You're going to build more relationships, and you're going to have more people joining you who want to build relationships too, which means you're going to have a steady foundation. So let me know if this helped. If anybody else wants to try this, if anybody else has somebody they're talking to and they want to like go on, I don't know why it didn't work last time, but maybe we can try it again. If you want to go on the duo screen here, I'm happy to work this out with you. Maybe we can get some suggestions. Or if you just want to talk this out, if you are feeling like you're doing something wrong or maybe something right and you want to share what's working for you, please let me know and I will pick on you on the duo screen. But if not, I totally understand, because it's also like 10 something and I don't even know what time it is. Hopefully this helps. And I'm sorry that I feel like it's kind of choppy, but it's honestly because I had to read part of it, the script, and then I had to do some things from memory too. I will go ahead after this and I will post the script. Would that be helpful? Cool. All right, I will post the script and everything. So I think it was a great training tonight. I hope that helped, and I can't wait till we do Sonia's next training, and I'll be sharing that with you too. All right, guys, you have a good night. All right, bye.